Alison White, how would you describe yourself in a few words?
Oh my goodness. Tall, lanky, giraffe-like. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sort of an outgoing person, I think. I love life. I love meeting people. I like doing new things.
When you look in the mirror, is there anything you want to change?
Quite a few things, actually. Quite a few things. So. I think sort of we all look at ourselves and wish that this was better, or our nose was straighter, or our teeth were whiter, or something. But to be honest, I'm quite content with myself. When I look round and I see people that are, you know, really either sick or ill or have disabilities, and I look at myself and I think how blessed I am, really. So, you know, I'm quite content with myself.
Alison White, as a young girl, what took you to dance?
It's all started because of my sisters, because my elder sister and my middle sister, Jane and Lizzie, first started. And of course I must have been round about, I would say, 6 or 7. And I wanted to, you know, be in my sister's footsteps. I wanted to do what my sisters were doing. That's how I first actually sort of got interested in it.
Alison, years ago in Malta, and still today, you are one of the pioneers of dance. How would that have felt like 30 years ago in Malta, 40 years ago in Malta?
Well, I've been now teaching for, it must be 37, 38 years now. I mean, I think I was sort of the pioneer of modern jazz, because the first pioneers, of course, in Bali was Putsitin, and then of course there was Tanya Bayona and Daphne Lungaro that sort of carried on from there. 37 years ago.
How did you see Malta 37 years ago? How was Malta as a nation when you came and you became Maltese, you know?
Well, it's always been a fascinating place for me. I love the people here. They're always so very warm and welcoming, and always the children especially, very, very eager to learn. And that for a teacher is, you know, something that you like to see when they come into a classroom or into the studio, you know, always excited to learn something new, and that sort of inspires you for a teacher.
And Malta 40 years ago, with Alison White coming over to grace our shores, how was that?
Well, I was very busy at that time. Of course, work was plentiful at that time. It was in the 70s when I first came over in 74. I think it was a lot quieter. I mean, sort of although tourism was, I think, at a boom at that time, and especially like with the cabaret shows and working in that respect, I was kept very busy at that time.
Did you feel a diva?
Did I feel, sorry?
A diva? Yes.
I think so, yes.
Any embarrassing moment in your life on stage?
I would say lots. There's quite a few, actually. I always seem to be quite clumsy sometimes. As you well know, the other week when we were filming, there was me walking down very elegantly, and suddenly I fell down the stairs and ended up with my legs up in the air. It was on your programme. I hope that's not going to be shown, by the way. And obviously doing shows with quite a few things have happened. Either things have flipped off and suddenly you've had to zoom off stage and, you know, not expose myself. But yeah.
Yes, Alison, in life, in your personal life, we all see you smiling, but does Alison White cry?
I do sometimes. I mean, I would say that my life, I'm very blessed. I have a wonderful family. I have a very loving husband. I mean, we've been married, it's going to be 40 years now this November that we've been together. I'm sort of crying in the sense, sometimes you do get a little bit low. I think sort of when you lose people very close to you, like when we lost Mummy and of course my sister, there are times when you do hit a low. But basically, I'm a pretty happy person.
And what is the secret to happiness, according to you?
I think my faith, you know, I'm a born-again Christian, and my faith helps me to keep very strong. I pray a lot to Jesus, and I feel that the faith really gives me a lot of courage and boldness and a lot of peace within. And I think that's one of my key...
Your secrets?
My key secrets, yes, is my faith.
Alison, a teacher for almost 40 years, what advice would you give to a young student who wants to become like Alison White?
Well, it takes a lot of hard work and dedication, commitment. I think a lot of the time with the children nowadays, they have so many other commitments in their life. I know sort of academically, parents are very pressing on wanting them to have a good education, which of course is extremely important in today's life, and especially with dancing, it's always good to have something to fall back on. But I think, you know, dedication, passion for what you really want to do.
Alison, what would be your biggest dream today?
My biggest dream? I don't know. I really don't know my dream. I think really, to be honest, is just to have the love and happiness that surrounds me always. I think I haven't got a lot of aspirations. I mean, at this time of my life, I try to give as much as possible to my students to see them grow, and you know, my dream is to see them succeed. I mean, I've done a lot in my life which I'm very content with. But my dream, I don't really know, actually. I mean, I love travelling, I love seeing new things, you know.
What do you think is the secret to success?
The secret to success, I think, believing in oneself, you know, that that you have to know, obviously, your own abilities and your own expectations. But I think, you know, being courageous and, you know, if going for what you want to go for, if you can do anything you want in this life, you know, if you put hard work, dedication, whatever you want to be, I think it's out there. So,
what makes Alison White so angry?
I think one of the things is when people are not truthful. I cannot stand when people are deceitful. I prefer somebody to come up and be very truthful to me, even if they know they're going to get told off. I don't like people. I don't like lies or deceit. That's really what makes me cross. I wouldn't say angry as such, but it makes me cross.
And what tickles your humour inside? What makes you smile?
What makes me smile? Lots of little things, really. I mean, you know, when I see the mummies bring their babies in, and holding a child and just seeing them laugh and smile, that brings me a lot of joy and happiness, and seeing them giggle, even with the small children. Although I haven't got, actually, unfortunately, we didn't have any children of our own. Lots of silly things, you know. Silly humour sometimes. We used to have a comedian, Fogwell Flax, and he used to do a thing with Sooty and Sweep, really silly things like that, you know, silly humour sometimes.
Would you, if you had to go back in time, choose Malta again, or would you go to some other place or remain in the UK?
I don't know, it's just how fate had it, because originally I wasn't supposed to come here first. I should have actually taken the first contract, which was Monte Carlo. And I think just fate sometimes just takes over your life. That's how life goes. I love Malta. I don't think I'd ever change anything, to be honest.
Alison Wright is really an icon in dance today. What do you think is the biggest flaw in a person who wants to dance in the dance scenario in Malta today?
The biggest flaw, I think it's very hard, because with Malta being such a small island, I mean, it's incredible how dance has exploded in Malta, and I must admit, I think the standard of dance has come up an awful lot. I don't know whether I'd actually say it's a flaw, but I think sometimes when students are training, I think sometimes they have obstacles where the academia tends to take over the practical side, and I think sort of where the training is concerned, it needs to be balanced better.
So, Alison, I'm a young boy, a young girl, and wants to dance. What would you tell me?
I would say find a good school, and there are a lot of good schools on the island. Make sure that the teachers are trained and that the studios are well maintained, and basically, if that's the passion that they want to do, go for it. I mean, if they're lucky enough that they have the support of their family behind them, their parents, that's even better, but...
So, Alison, if you 100 years pass and you're seeing, in some corner in Malta, busts being made of you, and they don't know exactly which words to choose for you, what would you tell them?
I think something like, be what you want to be, and just live your life to the full and be free.
Is that your motto, or maybe you have also another motto you want to share with us?
Not really. I think basically, life is so short. We're here only for a short time. So I mean, just live every day as if it's your last, really. You never know what's going to happen from one day to the other. And there are so many, fantastic things and beautiful things around us, that just live your life to the full.